Hey yo, what's good YouTube? And we are back with another chapter review of 1042 of One Piece. Yes sir. This chapter was really good. And on cap, it is really good. They said in the spoilers actually that the chapter was really good. I ain't gonna hold them, but they were really right. Chapter 1 Piece 1042, it is really great. It's called Winners Shouldn't Need Rationalizations. So without further ado, let's get into the chapter. So the chapter basically starts off with X Drake and the masked member, the CP0 nigga, Scarface. Starts off with him and Drake basically stabs him in the back. Literally stabs him from behind. And Drake says to him that this is him enacting his own justice. And the CP0 member says, "How I envy you." So to me, this dialogue actually indicates, like, obviously we know that CP0 don't have their own free will to make their own judgment. They can't discern that for themselves because they have to report to the Gorosei and they have to tell them what to do and what is right and what is wrong. But Drake, on the other hand, he works for Sword, and I think Sword is an opposite of what CP0 stands for in the Gorosei, because they can actually discern for themselves what is right and what is wrong. So this, I think, is like maybe a two sides of the same coin type of thing, where maybe in the future we'll see that Sword is going to be in the forefront of for the world government, and they're going to be the face of the world government rather than being in the shadows like CP0, and they'll be able to make their own decision as to what is bad, what is right, what is not, basically what is just in the world, let me say, which is a kind of a way that I think it's Oda's way of just saying, we in the end game now, guys. We in the end game. Anyway, we go past that, and the CP0 member uses Zoro to literally pull himself away from the sword, that the stab attack that Drake had put inside him, and he uses Shigan right into Drake's throat. God damn. They got my nigga Drake. They got him. We then move over to the flower capital. When we get to the flower capital, we see that the people are still putting their lanterns up to the sky, asking if they write wishes, and we see Otoko there in the cut. I still don't understand, like, to me really, how these people haven't grasped that there's a damn floating island that is floating above the capital. But obviously, maybe because Momo's pulling it away, they obviously can't see, because it's not time for them to see it, because I think it's gonna come a time where they have to see what's going on, like what is above them, One Piece, and then the climax of the story. It's bound to happen. We then go to the meat. This is the peak of the chapter, the hotness, the super hot fire. We go to Kaido vs Luffy, and we're basically continuing from where we left off in the previous chapter. Luffy's busy hitting Kaido with his Hydra. I think he said it's Komu Komu no Hydra. So it's basically he's, I think, Black Mamba with Conqueror's coating in his Snake Man form, and he's hitting Kaido all over the place. He's getting in the jabs one after the other, my brother. He's hitting him, and while he's hitting him, Kaido says that he doesn't understand why Luffy is doing this, not doing this, but really he's saying that basically Luffy's altering the trajectory of his punches at whim, and Rubber shouldn't be able to do this.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So this is a lot of people have already said in the community that this kind of confirms Oda's trying to tell us that this is not a normal devil fruit. Luffy's devil fruit is not rubber. It's not a normal rubber devil fruit. And I also think that that's exactly what Kaido's trying to say, is that the fact that he's saying that rubber shouldn't be able to do this, it means that, oh shit, okay, then what should be able to do this? What can do this? Does he maybe know what type of fruit can actually do this, or is supposed to do this? So that obviously tells us that no, Luffy's fruit is definitely not a rubber fruit. It's definitely a rubber fruit, and it obviously indicates that the name that was changed of the fruit that they were talking about, the Gorosei was talking about in the previous chapters, it actually was the Komu Komu no Mi. And this actually leaves a lot of speculation for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to saying it's a mythical zone, some Wukong fruit, because he's able to transform obviously into different forms, and this is maybe the Gomu Gomunimi, the rubber is basically maybe one of his forms, which could be a good theory, I guess. Kaido then goes into his drunk flirty mode or his phase. So we know obviously throughout this whole fight he's been going through these phases that Oda's been showing us, his angry phase, now he's in his flirty drunk phase, and I'm like, when I first read it I was like, what the hell is going on over here? What the hell they doing over there? But yeah, and then Luffy tells him, you're still drunk, and he's literally hitting him, and then Kaido drops another bombshell. Kaido says, don't think that you're the only one that can see the future, which obviously confirms now that Kaido can also use future sight, which obviously should have been a given for the community, because I think as a top tier fighter, as a Yonko even, like, I feel like you should be able to see the future, maybe not to the extent of Katakuri, but maybe to an extent that you can actually utilize the same way as Luffy is utilizing it. I think you have to become a Haki master. If obviously Devil Fruits are not a must, like we know from Shanks and his crew, but I think that for you to be able to survive in the new world, or maybe be solidified as a Yonko, as a top fighter, you have to have certain mastery of certain tier of Haki. Like armament, you have to know advanced armament. Conquerors, you have to have advanced conquerors. Observation, you have to have ability of future sight. So I think it has to come from a way where you have to be able to master these certain aspects of Haki for you to be in that top tier of fighters. Then Kaido says that he's gonna take a page out of Luffy's book, and he literally transforms into a dragon and weaves his body. Sorry about that. There's a bit of noise where I am. He literally weaves his body the same way that Luffy's weaving his punches, which is kind of crazy to me, because he's literally a huge ass dragon weaving himself from these small little punches. And he says it's called the thieving drunk phase, where he's stealing Luffy's moves, or Luffy's basically Luffy's move is literally stealing it and copying it, which is kind of cool what Kaido is doing that. So that means that it actually makes me think, does that mean that even when he's fighting other top tier fighters, does he do the same thing? Like, does he also maybe steal a certain aspect of their fighting capabilities?
That's my bar. Shit. He copied my whole fucking flow.
That's kissed me through the phone.
He copied my whole fucking flow. Word for word, bar for bar.
Kaido then bites Luffy. He manages to get a chomp on Luffy, bites Luffy, and then he takes Luffy straight up into the sky, and then he literally swallows him, but not swallow him whole, but puts him in his mouth, and then blasts like a full on point blank borrow breath right into Luffy. And it sends him right down to Onigashima. And then we obviously see Momo in one of the panels is a little bit surprised what's going on. And then we see Yamato's also dodging. We then see Luffy flying back up to the top of the roof, obviously after the borrow breath that Kaido hit him, and he goes into Bound Man, and he's literally flying back up to Kaido, and Kaido's like, oh, you back for more? And Luffy actually says that this is his last gear fourth. So obviously everyone is leaning towards the fact that him saying that means that after this he doesn't have anything left. He doesn't have anything left for Kaido, or we're gonna get to see another gear, maybe gear fifth, or another type of transformation from Luffy, maybe even awakening from Luffy, because he's saying that this is his last gear. So he literally has a couple of minutes left before he actually can do something. And he says to Kaido that he can't lose, because if he loses, that means that if people of Wano will stay being thirsty, and they will stay be going hungry because of Kaido and the fact that he's here. And he hits Kaido with the supreme King Kong gun. Obviously it's a Kong gun with the conquerors, and Kaido makes a very interesting point, and he says that the people of Wano used to defeat, and that they're weak pacifists and will die because of their honor. And a lot of people obviously went back to the chapter about the the samurai, and how Usopp was telling the samurai that there's no need for you to die. You have to rather live for that person instead of trying to die for a cause. Live on for the people. And I think, yes, it could be that, but I also think that it could maybe have to do with something with the Void Century, because I think because the Kozuki closed up Wano, I think the rest of the people of Wano decided, oh, okay, that's fine, then it doesn't matter, we can close it up, wrap it up. They decided to wrap it up. So I think it goes back to that they weren't able to do something back in the Void Century because of their weak pacifist and because they were willing to die for their honor. And I think Kaido obviously knows more than he's letting on about the Void Century, and I think that's what Kaido might be inferring to as to why he chose Wano and maybe why he's saying these things about Wano. Kaido then hits Luffy with a roaring thunder bagua, and he connects clean, like he literally connects him. He connects him so hard that the steam starts to go out of Luffy's mouth, and Luffy like literally has to hold the steam back in and says that he can't let any escape or else he's gonna lose power. And he says that he just has one more shot, and he says that if this shot isn't enough, he's going to lose. And I honestly think that this is Oda's way of throwing us off, as to we're gonna think that no, maybe this is just this one more shot, then Luffy's got nothing left, because we saw what he did with Kid and Law. They kept on saying that they have nothing left, and they kept on pulling out tricks out of the bag. So I think it's gonna be the same thing for Luffy as well. And Kaido hits a roaring thunder bagua, and Luffy's trying to hit the Supreme Kongang, but then we see the CP0 Scarface agent saying Tekai using Iron Body, and Luffy literally gets distracted for like a second, and Kaido connects. But when Kaido connects, he sees a flashback of Oden and of Luffy as well. So the two parallels of how he's lost his two most like interesting fights that he's had in a long time, and the literally expression on his face is it all, like he's distraught. He's literally distraught that it's happening to him again. And I think this is where it's gonna come to the difference between Oden and Luffy, is that Luffy's gonna be able to get back up and obviously finish the fight, whereas Oden wasn't able to get back up and finish the fight. I think this is when maybe Kaido will start to have even further respect for Luffy for the fact that Oden was powerful, yes, but he wasn't able to get back up. But Luffy was able to get back up for the sake of his dream of becoming Pirate King and etc. So I think that's where the difference is gonna lie between the two, between Luffy and Oden. And I think that's why maybe the chapter's name is actually called Winners Don't Need Rationalization. It was really a good chapter, guys. I actually can't wait for the next chapter, and we don't have a break next week. It is going to be so great. I honestly think I hope we get more stuff. I hope Luffy awakens in the next chapter. Maybe we see signs of that. I would be excited to see that. But yeah, thanks guys. Please do like and subscribe, and without anything else for me to say, I'll catch you in the next one.